Hi, this is Raj from MR Sportscars. In this video I'm going to talk through these beautiful Porsche Macans and the differences between the 95B, so this is cars up to 2018, and then the ones beyond the 95B.2.2s, the Gen 2s, facelifts, and the key physical and operational differences of these two models. This is a GTS, this is a Turbo, so there are some slight differences that you may spot. One being the mirrors, so they're the standard mirrors and they're what's called the sport design mirrors. So they have an actual gap in them, a little bit more pronounced. Front bumpers are different, but they did actually update the design of the front bumper between the two generations. So you can see it's got this extra little bit there, which has been incorporated within these sections here. So it's a little bit cleaner design. At the front, the grille slats have also been changed between the two eras, but basically the headlights are the same. They did introduce LED headlights part way through the building production of these, so I think it was around 2016. They gave the option for LED lights. Both of these have got LED lights, which are directional and have adjustable patterns, that kind of thing. Wheel styles largely remain the same. On the later cars, these are 21 inches. They're the RS Spider wheels. These are the 21-inch Sport Classics. They all come with relatively similar equipment, but the big difference that most people spot on these, whether it's a facelift or not, is this rear section here. So you can see that this has got a light bar right the way across with LED lights, whereas the earlier 95B models up to 2018 just have the lights in the corners. The GTSs come with darkened glass, but the standard cars come with lightened red glass. This has got the clear black tailgate from the Turbo catalogue, and it's also got a different rear spoiler. So it's got a twin pane rear spoiler, whereas this has got the standard spoiler. But you could have that spoiler on the later cars if it's not a turbo. Both have got the pano roof. Again, that hasn't changed in design. You could spec roof rails or no roof rails. And then on the inside, the other big difference is, I mean, even the key design is exactly the same. These are obviously color coded to the cars, but the buttons, the shape, everything, how they work is the same. Now, the two key things that I notice between the two are the sat-nav screen has the vents either side in the 95B, so it's a smaller screen. Then in the Gen 2, they've moved the vents below. This also has a CD player. The later car doesn't. And also, if you want to use CarPlay with the standard system and it's optioned with it, you have to use a cable which is plugged into here. Let me just fire that up so you can see the screen. So it does work with CarPlay. So there is the screen on the 95B. So if I go to the standard system so you can see exactly how big it is. It has DAB radio and things like that. So you can see now if I go to the other car and show you what that looks like. Now this might confuse things because it's connected on CarPlay on one car. This car, the big difference is the CarPlay system is wireless, so it's going to try and connect to my phone, and it has connected to my phone, I think, but probably not CarPlay on both. So you can see the screen is much bigger. It's got the vents at the bottom there. There's no CD player on this one, so the Gen 2 cars don't have CD players, but they have the navigation, so updated styling. The resolution of the screen is higher, and it's that much bigger screen there, so it's much easier to view things. So that's the big difference there. The other thing is both cars are spec with Sport Chrono, but you'll notice that the buttons for Sport and Sport Plus aren't on that section there. And that's because in the Gen 2 cars, they updated the steering wheel to, even though it looks the same, it has this additional section here, which has the drive mode. So Sport, Sport Plus, and also an individual. So you get an additional option of tailoring an individual mode, which allows you to tailor what's hardness of suspension, whether you want start-stop, whether you want the sports exhaust enabled, and what aggressiveness of driving in terms of the gear pattern and everything else. That can all be tailored to what you want on that individual setting. Whereas if you spec Sport Chrono Package Plus on an earlier car, you just got the Sport and Sport Plus, and they're on the buttons there, not on an additional section there. So they're the big differences between the two eras. Everything else pretty much is as it was. So there's not really a huge amount other than that aesthetic look that you see at the back. The rear lower section is obviously different because this is a turbo, so it's more aggressive than this GTS here. But you could get 360 cameras even on this car, which it's got the 4 cameras, whereas this one hasn't got that. It's got just the reversing camera and the sensors. So there's a camera down in that section there. So in essence, there isn't a huge amount difference between the two. The engines did change, so they revised the engines, and you can look up those to see the differences between them. But basically, the turbo, okay, so yeah, in terms of if you got a Macan Turbo 95B, you would have a 3.6 litre turbo engine. The later cars had a 2.9 twin turbo. Both were twin turbo. The S models went to single turbos on the Gen 2s, whereas they're twin turbos on the Gen 1s. So there is the two side by side. It's not often we have both, and I thought it was just a good opportunity to talk to you about the key differences between the two. If you do have any questions about differences between 95B, 95B.2s, or anything specific about Macans, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thanks for watching. Please do like and subscribe my channel.